101. Today we're going to make one of my favorite dishes, pink beans. Very simply prepared, delicious, and always better the next day. To make good beans, you don't need to soak them the night before. What you do need is to set aside a little block of time to have perfect, delicious, whole beans. Let's get started. I have some pink beans here, actually 2 pounds or 2 16-ounce bags that I'm just picking over to make sure there's no loose little pebbles or anything like that. And I'm going to give them a little rinse just to make sure that they're free of dust or any other particulate matter. Once I have them rinsed off, I'm going to go ahead and add them to my pot. And I want to have a pot that's going to have enough room for the beans to expand. They do grow a lot once they're hydrated. To that, we're going to add enough water to come up about, I would say 3 inches. So that is a lot of water. And to that, I'm going to add a smoked ham hock for flavor and gelatin. It's going to help thicken up the beans. And I'm going to add 2 fresh bay leaves. Not to be confused, remember those bay leaves that your grandma used to have in the like a little can? The leaves were like gray. It was like a little strange. Note that I'm not adding any salt to the beans. Adding salt to the beans doesn't let the beans soften. They actually stay hard. And the last thing you want is beans with bones in them. So I'm going to set that. Once it comes to the boil, I'm just going to skim off the foam that floats to the top. That actually muddies the flavor of the beans. So once it comes to the boil, you start skimming, you lower the heat so it's at a nice steady bubble, and that's going to take about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Then we'll start adding our sofrito and our flavoring components. Be back in a minute. Remember all that water that we put in the beans? We were worried about we were going to have bean soup. Well, I've been skimming and skimming, but quite frankly, it's less than 4 ounces of foam and water that I've taken out of the beans. And as you can see, the beans have grown almost to the level where we started out with the water. So we're going to have to add more water. Let's add about 2 inches over, and we'll keep an eye on it. They've only been cooking for 30 minutes, so you can see how quickly they expand. And the expansion is probably so dramatic because we didn't soak our beans. Had we soaked them overnight, the beans would have already started expanding and wouldn't be so quick to hydrate. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, it's been about 1.5 hours and I'm ready to check my beans. I pulled one out of the pot. And I'm just going to, perfect. So the bean holds its integrity, its shape, but when you smash it, it's completely creamy inside. That's perfect. We're going to start to build the flavors of our beans. Of course, out of my refrigerator, I pull out my trusty sofrito, and that's going in. A teaspoon of ground cumin. Half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and this is my little secret. A little piece of panela. Panela is a very dark brown, unprocessed sugar used in Latin America. It's very molassesy, and it's just going to give it a hint of sweetness. These beans are not going to be sweet. They are very definitely savory, but it adds a really nice layer of flavor to that. And I'm just going to tuck that in here. I'm going to go ahead and add some fresh ground pepper. And I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add a teaspoon for now, and then I'll check the seasonings again when the beans are done. They have about another 30 minutes. What I like the beans to do is to bloom. Once they're soft, they reach a point where they bloom and they release an extra little burst of starch into the sauce, which makes it really glossy and satiny and just absolutely beautiful. So I'm just going to stir the condiments inside. If I was making red beans, I would add some caparado, but pink beans are just so delicate, and so the sweetness really works well with them. We'll just do that. We're going to cover the beans, lower the heat, and I'll come back and take a look at them in 30 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. Let's take a peek. Gorgeous. Look how luscious and satiny and glossy those beans are. The beans are absolutely, they held their shape, their integrity. And I'm going to just, not sweet at all, just a hint, a little caramel in there. There's perfectly seasoned. The pepper, the bay leaf gave it that fragrance. Wow. Thank you for stopping by at Latin Cooking 101. We're doing beans with Daisy Martinez.